So this is my tutorial on filtering negative keywords, and the method 1 we're going to go through is using the search query report. So first of all, let's look at a simplistic overview of a PPC account. So we have keywords we wish to target, and then we also have keywords we wish to block, and we call these negative keywords. And it's these negative keywords we're focused on in this tutorial. So what are negative keywords? Well, they're blocker words or phrases which represent the keywords you do not wish your PPC ads to appear for, i.e. they're words or phrases with low relevance to your products or services. So why do you need negative keywords? Well, first of all, to improve the quality and relevancy of your campaigns. And the importance of this is that Google rewards a high quality score with lower costs and higher ad positions. And of course, we want to filter out negative keywords or unwanted keywords simply to reduce wasted spend within our pay-per-click account. Because the more we can reduce wasted spend, the higher our return on investment. So give me an example. So you are a fashion retailer, but you do not cater for children. Therefore, a sensible list of negative keywords would include kids, children's, boys, and girls. These are all words that we wouldn't want to appear in search queries that any user types in and for our ads to display, because any clicks resulting from search queries containing these keywords would just lead to wasted spend. So this is an overview of the negative keyword method 1 process. So the first point here is to focus attention on campaigns with the highest percentage of impressions. So if we've got 10 campaigns within our account, but 3 of those campaigns actually account for 80% of the impressions within that account, then we want to focus our attention on these 3 highest impression campaigns. It's just a good use of our time. So we start then by generating the search query reports for each individual campaign. We don't follow the process of downloading a search query report for all the keywords within an account in one go. I do not recommend doing it in that way. It's certainly better to do it on a campaign by campaign basis. So we download the data into Excel, one campaign per spreadsheet tab. This just simply organizes our data in a way that makes it easier for us to then run through the following process. So we then sort and configure the spreadsheet, and I'm going to show you shortly how we do that, but that just sets it up in a way that enables us to run through this process. Then we have a first sweep where we highlight in yellow any keywords that you think lack relevance. Then we follow this with a second sweep where we add the specific negative keyword that we wish to filter with the correct match type in column A. So this just leaves it nice and easy for us to be able to pull that data out of the spreadsheet and add it into the campaign so that our negative keywords become effective within our account. So next we're going to go on to running through the process of doing this on a live account, where you can look over my shoulder at how I actually go about doing it. So here we are within a live pay-per-click account. It's a Google Adwords account. So the first thing we want to do is click on our campaigns link here at the top. So we just left click on that, and it's going to then display all the campaigns we've got within our account. Now if we want to just filter this down to enabled campaigns, we can do that, and then it'll get rid of any campaigns that are currently paused or deleted. And following that, we want to make sure we select an appropriate date range. So for this demonstration, I'm going to select the last 30 days. Now depending on the size of your account and whether it's a new account, you might want to select a different date range. So for instance, I would usually recommend with any new account for the first 4 weeks doing a weekly search query report and added in negative keywords on a weekly basis, and then maybe move into a monthly basis thereafter. But if you've got a particularly big pay-per-click account with a very high spend, then doing search query reports every week or every 2 weeks on an ongoing basis will be a sensible thing to do. Okay, so first of all, and the first step of our process is to look at the different campaigns that we've got and to kind of prioritize which ones we want to run the search query reports on. So with this particular account, there's only a few campaigns, but we might have an account with, let's say, 15, 20, 30 campaigns in. So then we've really got to prioritize our time by selecting the campaigns which achieve the highest number of impressions, highest number of clicks, and the highest amount of spend, because these are going to be the ones that really it's going to be the best use of our time to focus on. So we'll start at the top. So we can see this one at the top has the highest number of impressions and clicks, so this is definitely a good place for us to start. So if we click on the specific campaign, then when we're in the campaign, and we'll see that by the fact that it will say all online campaigns here, but it will actually then give us a heading of the specific campaign we're in. So this one, we're in the actual brand campaign, and then we click on the keywords tab. Okay, now the next thing we do then is we come down to where it says details here, and we click, and then where it says search terms all, we left click. Now this gives us what's called the search query report. So this is basically all the search queries that users have typed into Google which have triggered our adverts. Okay, so it's just a big list down the page here of all the search queries during this last 30-day period that have triggered the adverts to show on Google. Now you've got to understand the difference between search queries and keywords. So you might have a particular keyword that you put into a campaign, but that keyword might actually trigger a range of different search queries. So particularly if we're using, say, a phrase match keyword, or even more so if we're using a broad or broad modified match keyword, there's a load of different search queries that keyword is actually going to trigger. So it's understanding how a keyword differs from an actual search query. The two are related, but they are different things. So the next thing we do is we click download, and we're just going to download this data. So first of all, I just need to save it here, and then it will download this spreadsheet, which we'll just open up and pull onto our window here. So here we've got it. This is our search query report for the last 30 days for the brand account. So what I'm going to do first of all is come down to this tab on the spreadsheet, and I'm just going to name that brand. Okay, now the second thing I'm going to do is I'm going to order this data from largest to smallest by number of impressions. So I click data, sort, and then come down to impressions, and then I want largest to smallest. Okay, now that's just ordered our whole spreadsheet from the highest number of impressions down to the lowest. And I just want to take out this total column at the top, so a bit of housekeeping. So I'll bring that down to the bottom again, and then I'll just delete this total row at the top. Okay, so now what we've got is we've got all our search terms or our search queries. So it's column C that we're interested in. Okay, and these are ordered, as I said, by number of impressions from highest to lowest. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to insert, and I'm going to put a column A in here, which we'll use in a second. So I'm just going to go back into my AdWords account now, and I'm going to go back to all online campaigns, click my campaigns tab here, then I'm going to go down to the second campaign, click that, go back to the keywords tab, go to details again, search terms, all. Now this is giving us our search query report for our Lodge Rental Scotland campaign. So let's download that data. We can save that here, and open that spreadsheet. Now what I'm going to do first of all with this data is just select all and copy, and I'm going to pull that into our master spreadsheet, and I'm going to click this plus sign here to add another tab. Okay, so there's our second tab, and I'm just going to name this tab Lodge Rental Scotland. So that's for our second campaign. So again, I'm just going to open out this search term column just that we can see the full width of the search queries there. Then I'm going to click on impressions, sort by impressions, largest to smallest, and sort the data. Okay, I'm then going to do my housekeeping and take this total row down to the bottom, delete it here at the top, and then again insert a column A. Okay, so what we've got here now is we've got a spreadsheet set up with two different tabs, or an Excel document set up with two different tabs or two different spreadsheets at the bottom here, which represent two of the campaigns within our account, and we've chosen the two campaigns which actually have the highest overall impressions for the last 30 days. So what we want to do now is we want to just go down through this data one at a time and just highlight any keywords that we think are not actually or lack relevance for our particular campaign. And then what we want to do is just highlight any cells which represent keywords with that lack of relevance. So I'm just going to go down quickly and just add a few as an example. Okay, so we go down through that whole sheet. We can see there's 156 search queries or rows of data that we need to look through with this particular example. So we do that for the whole of our brand campaign. Then we go to our Lodge Rental Scotland campaign, and here we've got slightly less search queries, only 74. So again, we just come down here, anything that's not relevant we just select, okay, and highlight. Now the next thing we do is so we've come back to our brand campaign tab here, is we come up here, we click on search term at the top of the row, and we click filter. Okay, now this adds this little drop down at the top of each row, which we then select, and we use the function filter by color, and we select then just the yellow color. So what this does then is it's just gonna select for us all the different search terms or search queries that we've highlighted as ones that we want to look at on our second sweep, and got rid of all the ones that we don't want to look at. So it's just kind of tidied our data. Now what we do then in column A is we want to add in either the word or phrase, or so either word or words that we want to use as our blocker word or blocker phrase to add in as a negative keyword into our account. So let's just say for instance that with this particular example our keyword that we wanted to block was restaurants. Okay, so what we would do is we'd add the word restaurants as a phrase match keyword. Okay, so we're just putting the two quotes either side of the word restaurants and adding that in our column A. Okay, now let's give another example on this next one. So let's say golf was a word that we didn't want as we didn't want any queries to actually trigger adverts if they had the word golf within our campaign. So we just add phrase match the word golf in this column A. Okay, and let's say in this example it was Bear Lodge that we didn't want to have as a keyword, or wanted to block as a keyword within our campaigns. So we can see this is a two-word phrase now, but again I've just put the quotes either side of the word bear lodge. Now the important thing about the match type with negative keywords, and it's something that I often see forgotten in campaigns that I audit, people will just add negative keywords as broad match. So in other words, they won't have any quote marks, or they won't have any square brackets which indicate that it's an exact match keyword either side of the word or phrase that they want to block. Now I would say probably 90% of the time the negative keywords that I enter into campaigns will be phrase matched, so they'll have the quote marks either side. So what I'm basically saying then is it gives me a good sweep up of the data. So I'm saying that any search query that someone enters with the word restaurants in, I just don't want my ads to appear for. So it basically, rather than me having it to put in lots of individual keywords or key phrases in exact match format, I just put in the word restaurants or restaurant. I could put both those in as phrase match, and I'm just doing a sweep all then to block all phrases with the words restaurant or restaurants in. So that's basically the process I follow. So what it then allows me to do is I've got my list of negative keywords here, which I can literally just copy, go into my account and paste them in as negative keywords in the negative keywords section of the account, and they've already got the correct match type there ready for me to use. So let's just show how we would do that. So we go back into our campaign. So these ones actually relate to our brand campaign. So I'd go back into where it says brand, I'd click on keywords, and then we need to scroll down to the bottom of the page here, because all these at the top are our normal keywords, or our positive keywords we could call them. So if I scroll down to the bottom here, we've got negative keywords, okay, and I can go add keyword lists, and this is where I can literally just sorry, I don't want to go add keyword lists, I want to go add keywords, and this is where I can literally just paste the keywords that I've just got off that spreadsheet in here. I've got the quotes around them already, so they're the correct match type to add into the campaign. Then I'm literally just going to click save, and that will add those keywords to my campaign negative keyword list.